All right, we got the sound rolling. Everything is up and running. I hope you guys had a great Sunday. Thank you guys for uh choosing to be with me this evening. I hope you guys had a great did I say Sunday? I meant Monday. I hope you guys had a great Monday. Hope you guys had a great weekend and all that good stuff. As you guys are rolling in, I just want to set the topics for today because I wanna try to keep this max at an hour. So around that hour mark, we're gonna shut it down. But we got to talk about Maxine Waters. We have to talk about Maxine Waters and just the ridiculousness of her claims. One, she said that Derek Chauvin should be charged with first-degree murder, and now her everything that she's saying, which is a direct threat to the juries, a direct threat to the jury, could have ramifications of the verdict being appealed by the defense. So we're going to read an article talking about that. I also want to share with you guys the appropriate response to crazy people like Maxine Waters. Okay, because at the end of the day, she is a representative for California. She decided to go to Minneapolis to empower these people to burn everything down. And as everything's burning, she is going to then go back to California and live her great life. Okay, so I found that Ron DeSantis's anti-riot bill, his legislation that he signed today, is the best response. And if you are not a resident of Florida, then you should be petitioning your politicians to mimic what Ron DeSantis is putting forward with his anti-riot bill, because I think it is the most well-rounded answer and rebuttal to the crazy claims that radical Democrats like Maxine Waters are going to push. They're going to say that we need to be more confrontational. Well, you're already burning things down. You're already stealing. People are already being killed. What do you mean be more confrontational? So we're going to talk about the correct response that Ron DeSantis gave. I want to show you guys a clip of him signing the bill, and I want to show you an empowered. This is an empowered sheriff, Grady Judd, down here in Polk County. All right, the neighboring county to Hillsborough, which is the county of my hometown. And I want to show you what an empowered sheriff looks like, because all throughout the United States of America, sheriffs are being neutered and cops are being stripped of their power. And here in Florida, Ron DeSantis is doing the opposite. Ron DeSantis is saying, no, do your job. No, we're not going to let people out on bond that were rioting. No, we're not going to be influenced by the radical left in how they want to let criminals out. We're not going to do that. So I want to show you guys what an empowered sheriff looks like, because in this landscape, guys, we see discouraged, beaten, and bruised cops all over the place. We see calls for defunding. But here in Florida, not only is defunding the police barred in this bill, we are seeing the support of the governor coming out and saying, no, I support you guys in doing your job. So we're going to cover that. And then last thing I want to cover is Ron DeSantis. He also signed an executive order that is going to stop private sector jobs and government bodies from mandating a vaccine. So that is good for us who live in Florida. So those are going to be the topics tonight. We're gonna keep this thing under an hour. Uber, what's up, my dude? She's like 82 years old. She probably got like 2 years. I mean, she's an impressive person when you talk about longevity. All right. She's an impressive person when you think about that. She is old as heck, talking crazy, yet she gets reelected over and over and over. I don't understand how she beat the young black Republican guy who was running against him. I think his name was Collins, last name Collins. But I don't know how she was able to beat him. But we have to talk about just the ramifications of what her crap, of what the crap that she said out of her mouth. We got to talk about that. All right. So Sunshine Happy Lady. Yes, Maxine is on a rampage. She is just, she knows she's going out. So she's going out with the fight, and she is ready to, I mean, you think about Joe Collins. Yes. I I don't know how she lost to Joe Collins. Joe Collins is a solid, young, new-faced Republican. Okay, California, he's a Republican, but my goodness, you're going to choose Maxine Waters over fresh new blood who actually has some sense. So, that's insane to me. Before we get started, real quick disclaimer: if my son comes in, I'm gonna have to pause the live stream because he has 2-year-old nightmares, and my wife stepped out to the store, so that means I'm on daddy duty. So if he comes in to my lovely garage studio, then I'm gonna have to take care of him. But Sunshine Happy Lady says, I used to live in LA. She paid. Of course she did. Of course she had to pay for that. There's no way that she beats Joe Collins fair and square. Especially with the type of rhetoric she has. I don't understand how people can talk about Trump inciting an insurrection, Trump this, Trump that, and this lady just gives off black privilege. I mean, imagine a white person saying this. Imagine a white person saying what Maxine Waters is saying. This is black privilege all day. And she said it over and over and over. So we got to talk about that. As you guys see, we are getting closer and closer to that goal. So make sure you guys join the journey to 1,000 subs. If you're watching the live stream, thank you for your time tonight. As I said, we're going to keep this thing around an hour, no more than an hour. Or if we go a little bit over, not too much, but make sure you guys join the journey to 1,000 subs. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Thank you guys for all the comments, all the support. And I really appreciate you guys just, sticking with me as I grow. Obviously, my previous live stream attempt didn't have the, I made the rookie mistake of keeping the mute button on. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me, because at the end of the day, guys, we have to stay in this. We can't just fall away. We have to stay in this. We have to give our commentary. We have to give our opinions. We have to live our life. We have to put our kids into the right schools. We have to raise strong kids. We have to be strong people, because what the United States has produced over the decades is a bunch of wussy men and a bunch of women that think that their body is, my body, my rights. And then they just follow along with the whole systemic racism conspiracy theory. So all that to say, guys, we got to stay in the fight no matter what's going on. We got to stay keeping our opinions out there, keeping our principles out there, because at the end of the day, they want to silence us, and we cannot be silent. So as Ben Shapiro said, we cannot be silenced if we don't let them silence us. So with that said, I wanted to just refresh everyone's mind to the craziness of Maxine Waters. Now, it would be one thing if she said, okay, we won't like the verdict, but she says first-degree murder. She says, hey, he needs to be charged of first-degree murder. And if he doesn't, then we need to go out into the streets. I mean, it's honestly a shame that this woman right here, all right, she would have the audacity, the wherewithal to leave her home state and to go to California and then say things like this. So I want you guys to take a listen, because I mean, the first time I heard this, I didn't catch the first-degree murder, so I don't know if you guys did. All right, but she says she wants Derek Chauvin to be brought up on she wants him to be convicted of first-degree murder, which is absolutely insane, because he is not even being charged of first-degree murder, and she doesn't even. This shows she doesn't understand the law. So take a couple seconds to enjoy Maxine Waters.
Not just manslaughter, right? I mean,
oh no, not manslaughter. No. This is guilty for murder. I don't know whether it's in the first degree, but as far as I'm concerned, it's first degree.
Congresswoman, what happens if we do not get what you just told? What should the people do? What should protesters on the street do?
I didn't hear you.
What happens? What should protesters do?
Well, we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business.
That's insane.
Right? I mean,
oh no, not manslaughter.
Not manslaughter.
This is guilty. murder. I don't know whether it's in the first degree, but as far as I'm concerned, it's first.
I mean, think about what she says. How are you a congresswoman who is alive during one of the biggest social situations? I mean, a cop civilian situation. You're alive. Like this is a humongous circumstance, and you don't even know what the charges are. She says, I don't know, I don't know if it's first degree or second. Have you not been watching this? This shows me she doesn't give a capital DAM. She doesn't care about the details. You're a congresswoman and you're talking about first degree murder, and you're saying, I don't even know what it is, but it's murder. It needs to be first degree. Woman, that's not even any of the charges. If you read the Minnesota statutes, there's no way to convict Derek Chauvin of murder. So this is insane to me that she is able to come out here without any real information and just talk. She is a congresswoman telling the public to burn it down. That is what she's saying. Be more confrontational. Be more confrontational to what? If you're already burning stuff, killing people, and looting, what does more confrontational mean? How is that? How in the world can she get up on a national stage and talk about things that aren't even part of the case? First degree murder. I mean, that shows me right there she doesn't care. This has nothing to do with justice for her. This is just for her to come out and show her wrinkly skin and say, hey, look, I've been in politics for a long time, social justice, equity, blah, blah, blah. Vote for me again. All right. But at the end of the day, she doesn't care. She can't care. If you think that, if you don't know, this is how you know you really don't care about the case. If you can't tell me that the charges against Derek Chauvin are second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter, then you don't care about the case because you haven't followed it. She hasn't followed it, and yet she's going to come out here brain dead and talk as if she has some authority on the issue. All right, Uber says, Ayo, 1,000 subs, bro. Toast up. Yes, thank you, bro. One sub at a time. Sunshine Happy Lady, she should be required to live in her district, but she will not because it is too dangerous. Yeah, of course. It's just like the Black Lives Matter. They want to go ahead and populate the nice white. And hey, I have nothing wrong with living in white neighborhoods, but if you're going to hate on it your whole life and then move to a white neighborhood, I mean, don't you see that as a hypocrite? No. All right, Maxine is brain dead, but her big mouth is still running nonstop. Yes, it is. So, you guys have seen Maxine Waters, and I made a video earlier today about her crazy comments. But that had me thinking, okay, if this is the truth, all right, and then this is what it is. Maxine Waters, she said what she said. The ramifications are going to be what they're going to be. Actually, before we move on, I want to go over what some of those ramifications might be. So this coming from the Daily Mail, I got a little ahead of myself. I wanted to show you guys Ron DeSantis signing the anti-riot bill. But coming from dailymail.com, Maxine Waters may have handed the defense grounds for appeal and the turning over of this trial. Derek Chauvin trial judge blasts abhorrent Democrat for calling for riots if no conviction. So Derek Chauvin's defense attorney, Eric Nelson, called for a mistrial after the jury retired on Monday. He cited Representative Maxine Waters' comments on the case as he argued that there was no way the jury could have been unbiased given the constant media coverage. Now that we have U.S. representatives threatening acts of violence in relation to this trial, it's frankly mind-blowing, Nelson said. Judge Peter Cahill replied, I grant that the Congresswoman Waters may have given you something on appeal that may result in this whole thing being overturned. So that is the key, that Maxine Waters' abhorrent speech could give the defense something on appeal that may result in this whole trial being overturned. So basically, long story short, let's say that the jurors find Derek Chauvin innocent on second and third degree murder, but they find him guilty on manslaughter because of the reckless comments of Maxine Waters, and the jurors not being sequestered, i.e., put away, so they're not able to be subjected to all of this garbage. What the judge is saying is there may be grounds for this whole trial to be overturned because you have a representative from the United States government loudly calling for violence in the street if she doesn't get the results that she wants. So she said she gives a big middle finger to due process. She gives a big middle finger to the criminal justice system. And no matter what the verdict is, if it's not exactly what she wants, which she said first degree murder, so she's not getting that. If she doesn't get something along those lines, then she's telling everybody burn it down while I go chill in a nice private neighborhood in California. Minnesota can burn, the kids could be out of school, and businesses can be looted. I don't really care. I'm just saying it because it's my party and I gotta say it. All right, but Cahill refused to grant a mistrial and adjourned the court until the jury comes back with the verdict. So as you guys can see, there could be some future ramifications of this lady's comments, because this is insane. A congresswoman is basically putting the lives of the jurors in danger by telling everybody that if those 12 people give a verdict that we don't agree on, be more confrontational, burn it down more, riot more, be in the streets more. I mean, I don't understand how a congresswoman, and I keep saying I don't understand because I truly don't understand how a congresswoman could come up and say such, as Daily Mail put it, abhorrent comments that she doesn't care about her fellow citizens, the jurors. She doesn't care about them. All she cares about is give me the right answer. And the right answer to her lost mind is first degree murder. So with that said, guys, I mean, it's not looking good. It is not looking good for Minnesota. It's not looking good for Minneapolis. Jumping into some of these comments, Sunshine Happy Lady says, Mad Maxine has big connections and money that keep her in power. Even Larry Elder has campaigned against her and supported candidates. She is crooked big time. Yes, she has to be crooked. I mean, you have to be crooked to say what you said and to think that there's nothing wrong with inciting violence against the jurors. Uber says, who all here would be so thankful if breaking news that Maxine Waters, I mean, hey, she should, at the very least, she should not be here. She needs to be gone. But jumping back into this article, guys, Congresswoman Maxine Waters may have handed Derek Chauvin's defense grounds for appeal and the turning over of any guilty verdict. Speaking after the jury was sent out on Monday afternoon, Chauvin's attorney, Eric Nelson, once again made a bid to have the case against his client thrown out on grounds that there was no way the jury could be untainted by the excessive publicity surrounding the case. Now that we have U.S. representatives threatening acts of violence in relation to this trial, it's frankly mind-blowing, Nelson said. Taking into consideration, Judge Cahill said, I grant that Congresswoman Waters may have given you something on appeal that may result in this whole trial being overturned. Judge Cahill denied Nelson's move for a mistrial, but he said, I wish elected officials would stop talking about this case. They should respect the co-equal branch of government. He said that failure to do so was so abhorrent, but added, I don't think it's given additional material with which to prejudice the jury. I mean, this, I don't understand. Real quick, let me jump in here. I don't understand what the judge is thinking about. I mean, how can you take the nonstop Derek Chauvin murder trial coverage on all the main news sites, all the headlines, everything that's out there, and then the cherry on top is this lady then says, oh, we need to be more confrontational. All of that. And the Judge Cahill, says, I don't think it's given additional material with which to prejudice the jury. What do you mean? How is that not enough material to prejudice the jury? You have a Congresswoman of the United States of America saying out loud, be violent. She's not saying be violent word for word, but what her words are implying is tear this mother effer down. Because if I don't get what I want, which she ignorantly said, I want first degree murder, which is not even a charge. If she doesn't get that, then the city just needs to be burnt down. And you know what? She would gladly accept that because it's not her community, which I've touched on before. She's going to go back to California and live a great life, a nice, peaceful life in the suburbs of a nice, rich Californian estate. You know, it's crazy to me that this judge would say that there's not enough material there to prejudice the jury. I mean, if I was a juror, I mean, not me, I would personally, I would make my decision based on the evidence. But think about the people who are thinking about being doxxed. Think about the people who are there who are intimidated by the words of Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who are afraid that people are going to be more confrontational against them and that their private information is going to come out. You know, just think about that. So to say that the jury is, you know, that all of this stuff is not going to prejudice the jury, I just don't agree with Judge Cahill. Anyways, moving on. Waters had joined protesters in Minneapolis, suburb of Brooklyn Center, on Sunday night for a demonstration over the death of Daunte Wright, a 20-year-old black man who was a criminal, shot by a police officer during a traffic stop on April 11th, which, as we all know, he resisted. You know, Miss Potters made the wrong choice by pulling out the gun instead of the taser. But at the end of the day, Daunte Wright was a criminal. And if he wouldn't have resisted, he would still be here. Anyways, Waters told the protesters that she will fight for justice on their behalf and urged them to get more confrontational, just one day after the protest descended into violence. I hope we get a verdict that says guilty, 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 she said of the Chauvin trial. If we don't, we cannot go away. We've got to stay in the street. We have to be more active. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business. And all of these vicious words coming from this lady right here. So as you guys saw, really the ramifications of this thing is that whatever the verdict is, the defense has grounds to appeal it, because at the end of the day, this is not a fair trial. I mean, this is not a fair trial. There is no way the jurors are going to leave unscathed of any outside influence, especially because they weren't sequestered. They weren't put away. They weren't strictly mandated to not ingest any news. So this is all over the place. There is no way that the jurors were able to move forward with this trial and not be influenced by any outside influence, especially those of Maxine Waters. So as you guys see, it's overall a shame that a congresswoman would say such things. And we're going to have to see what happens, because at the end of the day, you know, I don't see the jurors, if they're actually using their minds and they're actually looking at the evidence and looking at the statutes. Derek Chauvin is not guilty of second or third degree murder. He's not. Manslaughter. Okay. You convict him of manslaughter. I could say, okay, I can at least see that. I could see that. Obviously, the way that George Floyd acted that day resulted in what we saw. But you know what? If the jury decides of manslaughter, then you know what? It is what it is. But even if they decide manslaughter, according to Maxine Waters, she wants everybody to be more confrontational. So as you guys are coming in to the stream, make sure you guys join the journey to 1,000 subs. Make sure you guys hit that like button. All right. We should have these likes all the way up. Appreciate you guys taking time to hang out with me on a Monday. If you guys want to support the channel, these links will be in the description below. I am on Patreon. You could also support on PayPal and Cash App. So I appreciate you guys. Anything that's on your heart to give, I would appreciate. Make sure you guys are dropping comments as you're coming in. All right, looking at these comments. My advice, I think Chauvin should do the Epstein, send an active duty military into these zones. The infantry, Marines, and then civilians could be pink mist if they don't calm down. I mean, at the end of the day, the civilians in Minnesota, they need to be met with serious resistance. That's what has to happen. That there has to be a greater resistance. There has to be a greater resistance to what's going on. But ultimately, as I said before, the powers that be are neutering the police officers. So that's why I want to show you guys. I want to take some time and show you guys what good leadership looks like. Because, all right, we've talked about Maxine Waters' blunder. We've talked about, obviously the Democrats are terrible leaders, this and that. All right, I want you guys to just take a listen to what great leadership, proactive leadership looks like. So Ron DeSantis signed an anti-riot bill into law, and it is in direct response to what happened in 2020. So I want you guys to take a few minutes because there's so much bad news going on. Okay, and I understand it's terrible, right? Cops are shooting. They're putting the conspiracy theory. They're pushing all these conspiracy theories about racism, this, that, the system, America sucks, blah, blah, blah. So they're doing all this stuff. But within all of that, there is areas of solid leadership. So I want you guys to just take a listen to what leadership looks like. And this is what you should be petitioning. If you're not in Florida, this is what you should be petitioning your leaders to be pushing. So take a couple minutes and I'll provide some commentary. Drop some comments below. And let's listen to Ron DeSantis sign this into law. As of today, April 19th, the anti-riot bill.
Well, good morning. I think it was in September we were here with Sheriff Judd hosting us, and we put out a vision for the state to maintain being a law and order state. We saw really unprecedented disorder and rioting throughout the summer of 2020, and we said that's not going to happen here in the state of Florida, and we wanted to make sure that we were able to protect the people of our great state, people's businesses and property, against any type of mob activity or violent assemblies. And so we had a bold vision. We worked with President Wilton Simpson and Speaker Chris Sprowls to get it done. They were able to successfully do it. And so we're here today being prepared now to sign that bill into law. I think it's really remarkable. If you look at the breadth of this particular piece of legislation, it is the strongest anti-rioting, pro-law enforcement piece of legislation in the country. And there's just nothing even close. The bill does a number of things. One, it tackles head on this idea that we've seen last summer and then we still see today, that there should be a movement to defund law enforcement. Now, obviously, the state of Florida, we're not going to do that under my leadership. But if a local government were to do that, for their citizens. And so this bill actually prevents against local governments defunding law enforcement. We'll be able to stop it at the state level. And if you look at some of these places that have done this, they've already seen crime go up, even just diverting some of the funding to this. And so it's an insane theory. It's not going to be allowed to ever carry the day in the state of Florida. And this bill gives us the tools to make sure that that doesn't happen. It also holds local governments accountable if they fail. If we saw last summer, some of the local governments are actually telling, not necessarily in Florida, but throughout the country, basically telling these folks to stand down, telling police to stand down while cities burnt, while businesses were burnt, while people were being harmed, that's a dereliction of duty. And so what our bill says that I'll sign into law today is that if you're derelict in your duty as a local government, if you tell law enforcement to stand down, then you're responsible for the damage that ensues. And if someone's been harmed or their property has been destroyed, then they can sue you for compensation.
So as you guys see, I mean, this is the reason why I want to take some time and you guys actually sit with this is because this is what you should be petitioning your legislators to move towards. And if they're not moving in this direction, then it may be time to consider leaving counties, leaving states, because the way that this is heading is that the people who are sitting in these liberal leftist cities like Minneapolis, like Portland, like Seattle, you're going to be caught up in such a warfare of a mess that it's not going to be worth staying. It's just not. So if your politicians, if your representatives are not working to put a anti-riot bill into act, then honestly, for your own safety, it might be time to consider leaving. So DeSantis is showing us the appropriate response. Like, okay, Maxine Waters is an idiot. Maxine Waters is coming from California to then tell people in Minneapolis to be more confrontational. Okay, the city's going to burn. Okay, all of these things are happening in Minnesota and other states. Okay, but in Florida, it's not happening. And it's because of the leadership and how leadership has said, no, we are not going to allow local governments to defund the police. We're not doing that. We are not doing that because we know that when there is less police presence, there is more crime. And then the second thing he just said was he wants to hold local governments accountable. Like, no, you can't tell. You cannot tell the government bodies. I mean, think about it in my city. If Jane Castor, the Tampa mayor, said, okay, Tampa Police Department, I want you to stand down. What Ron DeSantis is saying is that, no, she's then responsible for the destruction of all the buildings because she told all the police officers to stand down and let all of these people run amok. And this is the type of accountability we need from the top down. If you are going to be a politician who sits in a seat of power and tells the law enforcement to not do their job, then we need to hold you accountable. We need to be able to file lawsuits against you because you are purposefully, and you, by the power invested in you, are neglecting your duty to protect us. And that is why this anti-riot bill, it's just an overall win for us who live in the state of Florida. And it is a path to for people who are not in Florida to go and petition their politicians on which way they should be going.
We also have penalties for people that commandeer highways, which we saw in other parts of the country. Just think about it. You're driving home from work and all of a sudden you have people out there shutting down a highway. And we worked hard to make sure that didn't happen in Florida. They start to do that. There needs to be swift penalties, and that's something that just cannot happen. We also saw around the country people toppling monuments of people like George Washington. This bill protects all monuments in Florida. You have no right to go in and take down monuments. We're not going to let the mob win the day with that. Bill also includes liability for mob intimidation. If you think about it, we saw images of people just sitting outside, eating at a restaurant, and then you have this crazed mob circle around them and start screaming and really intimidating. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. You're going to be held accountable. Mind your own business and leave people alone if they're not bothering you. And then finally, and probably maybe most importantly, if you riot, if you loot, if you harm others, particularly if you harm a law enforcement officer during one of these violent assemblies, you're going to jail. We're going to hold you accountable.
Yes, sir.
And we're not going to end up like Portland, where this is just a daily occurrence where these people are doing this. They get arrested, they have their mugshot taken, and then they get put right back on the street to do it again. So I think this bill that I'll sign into law shows the state of Florida takes public safety very seriously. We believe in making sure that our streets are safe. We want to make sure that our cities are prosperous. We want to make sure folks are protected. And there should be no doubt the minute I sign this bill into law, anybody who wears the uniform in service of protecting the public, this bill will make very clear the state of Florida stands with you. So I'm going to sign the bill into law. Then we have so many great people who help make this happen, and we're going to allow them to come up and say a few things as well.
So as you guys can see, this is a great day for Florida because, guys, like he said, and like I said before, what Ron DeSantis is doing is he is putting the power back where the power should be. The power should be with those who are given the duty to protect the streets of their neighborhoods. So the police officers in so many states have been neutered beyond belief and have been told, stand down, and have been told, you're racist, and have been told, we don't need you, abolish you, defund you, go away. And I really hope, part of me looks at Minnesota and Minneapolis and says, I really wish all of the police officers, if two strains of thought could just flow through two groups of people, I would love this. One, all the police officers resign. Okay. You know what? Y'all don't need us. Peace. And then I wish this thought would go through all of these people, the innocent people who are not the ones who voted this in. Like, if you voted for these Democrats, then you know what? Stay there and reap what you sowed. But if you are one of the few conservatives, if you are one of the few Republicans, if you are one of the few neutral people that really don't even know what's going on, I wish all of those people would just get out of Minnesota, because all of the power has been stripped from the people that are there to protect them. So I'm talking about people that have been stripped. I want to show you guys what it looks like when the governments, when the governors, when the powers that be, when they give power to the people that deserve the power. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but I just want you guys to just get a sense, because when I was watching this, so this is Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd. And the main thing I got from this was he sounds like a person who feels valued. He sounds like a police officer, a sheriff who knows, okay, I'm being backed by the authorities. I'm being backed by my governor. I am in a state, I am in a county where the people that I serve don't have to worry about me being defunded, or I don't have to worry about being called a vicious racist and actually meaning anything, because it won't turn into anything of legislation. So watch this sheriff, Grady Judd, and I'm just going to let it play for about a minute or two. And I just want you to experience, this is what it looks like when leadership is healthy, when Ron DeSantis gives the power to the people that should have the power and backs the people that have the power. This is what officers look like and sound like. They sound grateful and they sound ready to respond to the calling, because at the end of the day, they know that it's their duty to resist all rioters. So take a quick listen to Sheriff Grady Judd.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've had the privilege of being in law enforcement my entire adult life, and I've worked with the legislature for a majority of my law enforcement career in my adult life. Never have I seen the leadership that I see with Governor DeSantis, with Speaker Sprouse, and with President Simpson. They're making a positive difference, not for government, but for the people of the state of Florida. Florida is a unique place and a special place. It's where we work, where we live, but it's also where the world comes to play, to bring their children. And their children have a right to be safe. And that's guaranteed under the leadership of our governor, our speaker, our president, and the way we do business in Florida. You can compare and contrast. Look at Seattle, Portland, Minneapolis. That's no way to treat the community. That's no way to treat those that put their entire life into building their business. We saw folks' businesses burn around this nation who literally had worked their entire life and had every penny of their life savings involved. And what our governor said is, that's not happening here. And we're going to be proactive, and we're going to make sure people are safe. Well, it might come as a surprise to you, Governor. I got some.
There you go.
I want to make sure everybody knows this is a peaceful protest. We encourage it. It's the foundation of our country, and we want people to peacefully protest when they feel the need. This is a riot, and this will get you locked up before quick in the state of Florida. Pay attention. We've got new law, and we're going to use it if you make us. We're going to protect the people. No longer will people walk up and surround you as a citizen of Florida or a visitor of Florida, surround you while you're eating dinner at an outdoor cafe in a big mob without there being immediate consequences and arrest. It's not acceptable.
So I just want you guys to take away that is what it sounds like when the power is given to the people that should have the power. And Grady Judge, he's been a longtime sheriff here in the Tampa Bay area, and as you guys may know, Polk County is the neighboring county to Tampa. And I just think it's great. I mean, there's really not much to say other than, you know what? There's a lot of chaos going on out there. There's a lot of chaos going on out there. But what I see is local leadership like Ron DeSantis, empowering those who say, you know what? We want to be able to protect our communities. So to me, the main reason, like I said, the main reason why I show that to you guys is because I feel encouraged by that. I feel encouraged that there are leadership. Like, I mean, if you think about the media pushes bad story, cop killed, person gets killed here, riot, this, that, mass shooting. And and it's just refreshing to see, okay, there are actually leaders who are doing it right. There are leaders who are creating legislation. They're creating legislation that is going to curb the amount of riots that are here in the Tampa Bay area. All right. And last thing I'll read, revolving this topic. And as you guys are jumping in, make sure you guys drop a comment below, hit that like button. If you're new to the live stream, make sure you guys hit that like button. Jumping into the article, Florida Governor DeSantis signs controversial anti-riot bill. It is only controversial if you are a pro-rioter. If you are all good with people getting out there and rioting and looting, then you know what? Then you have a problem with this bill. If you are not on that camp, then you know this is not controversial. A controversial Florida bill aimed at cracking down on violent protest and combating public disorder was signed into law on Monday. Governor Ron DeSantis signed House Bill 1 at 10 a.m. The legislative nickname, the anti-riot bill, was first filed in the Florida House of Representatives in early January and passed the Senate on Thursday. The bill includes a number of measures introduced by Governor Ron DeSantis after last summer in his Combating Violence, Disorder, and Looting Law Enforcement Protection Act. The bill, which covers 61 pages, makes several changes to the Florida criminal administrative law and will, of the many things, it will make it more difficult for cities and counties to reduce funding for law enforcement, allowing local elected officials to challenge those budget decisions and giving the state power to approve or amend the local budget. Allow those local governments to be sued if they fail to stop a riot. Define riot as a violent public disturbance involving 3 or more people acting with common intent, resulting in injury to others, damage to property, or imminent dangers of injury or damage. Enhance penalties for people who commit crimes during a riot. Creates a new second-degree felony called an aggravated riot. An aggravated riot, which occurs when the riot has more than 25 participants, causing great bodily harm or more than $5,000 in property damage, uses or threatens to use a deadly weapon, or blocks roadways by force or threat of force. So, as you guys can see, this is a holistic piece of legislation, and us in Florida are not going to sit back and just be victims of nonsense. So jumping into some of these comments, Sunshine Happy Lady says, love our Sheriff Grady Judd. Also, we are double blessed in Florida with Sheriff Grady Judd and Governor Ron DeSantis. Vote red and keep Florida safe. Yes, yes, and yes. Only those who want to burn, loot, and murder would be against the anti-riot bill. Facts and truth. Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're against this bill, then you are for rioting. This bill is not a amendment. It is not a First Amendment oppressor. That is not what this anti-bill in that Ron DeSantis just signed. It is not that. What it is a safeguard for the people who want to go exercise their First Amendment right. The anti-riot bill that we just read, that we just saw Ron DeSantis sign into law, this bill protects us who want to peacefully protest. So if there's anybody out there that is talking about the Ron DeSantis anti-riot bill, basically stifling freedom of speech, they do not know what they're talking about, because this bill strictly has to do with violence. It is focused on violence. It is focused on, like we saw, stop defunding the police. It holds local governments accountable. So at the end of the day, this is not something that is anti-First Amendment. It is just an ignorant claim to say that Ron DeSantis's anti-riot bill is anything that's against the First Amendment. So I don't really get it. I really don't understand it. And you know what? I don't even care to understand it at this point, because Ron DeSantis has signed the anti-riot bill into law, and it is what it is. We're moving forward. As a Floridian, I feel proud. As a Floridian, I feel like we live in a great state. And I just wish that other states would jump on board, because it doesn't make sense to allow your cities to burn. All right. It doesn't make sense to allow your cities, the people that you call neighbor, to watch their businesses burn down. It doesn't make sense. So, that's what I got with that, guys. We're going to transition to the last topic of the night, because Ron DeSantis dialed it in again for us. I want to read this executive order. It is not lengthy at all. All right. But for those who care about the vaccine, as you know, the powers that be want to make this vaccine a mandate. They want everyone to be vaccinated. If they could force it, they would force 100% vaccination by adults, or you can't resume in life as normal. So as we look at what the Democrats want to push, which is a vaccine mandate, they want to co-opt all the private sectors to make this a mandate for all of their employees. All right. So it's basically, you have private sectors that are being influenced to hold vaccine mandates, because they're being influenced by the Democratic Party. So since that is the truth, here is what we have. Here is a great piece of defense. I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but Ron DeSantis signed an executive order regarding the vaccine. So State of Florida, Office of the Governor, Executive Order 2181, prohibiting COVID-19 vaccine passports. All right. So skipping down a little bit to a little bit more of the meat and potatoes. So whereas many Floridians have not yet had the opportunity to obtain the COVID-19 vaccination, some have infection-acquired immunity, and others may be unable to obtain the COVID-19 vaccination due to health, religious, or other reasons. Okay, now obviously I fall in this category right here. I do not want to take this vaccine due to, you know what, at the end of the day, I want to reject it. I'll trust God with my health, and I do not trust the government. Whereas Florida seeks to ensure that every Floridian who desires, key thing, if you desire the COVID-19 vaccine, can obtain one. But such vaccines will not be mandated. All right. It will not be mandated. Now, mind you, this is an executive order from the Office of the Governor of the Office of the Governor. So Ron DeSantis continues to really push for our interests, us who love liberty and freedom. whereas no COVID-19 vaccine will be required by law, and whereas individual COVID-19 vaccination records are private health information which should not be shared by a mandate. So this really speaks to the fact that employers can't force us to show a record of vaccination because that's our business. That is not your business to know if I am vaccinated or not. You don't have permission to know about my health records. And especially you don't have permission because you're using it as an ultimatum, which is where this is going. I mean, you could check out my video that I made a couple of days ago about the Buffalo Bills, the NFL team, the Buffalo Bills, wanting to mandate every single person that attends a Buffalo Bills game to be vaccinated. What are you talking about? Whereas so-called COVID-19 vaccine passports reduce individual freedom, yes, they do, and will harm patient privacy, yes, it will. Whereas requiring so-called COVID-19 vaccine passports for taking part in everyday life, such as attending a sporting event, patronizing a restaurant, or going to a movie theater, would create two classes of citizens based on a vaccination. Now, look at the language that is in this executive order. All right, this is what is before us as Democrats want to push this vaccine crap. Is okay, you're going to have this group of people are the vaccinated. This group of people are the non-vaccinated. Here are the perks for the vaccinated. Here are all of the limitations for those who decide not to get vaccinated. All right. So as you guys can see, Ron DeSantis is putting together a comprehensive piece of defense to really stop medical tyranny. Whereas it is necessary to protect the fundamental rights and privacies of Floridians and free flow of commerce within the state, now I therefore, Ron DeSantis, as governor of Florida, by virtue of the authority vested in me by Article 4, Section 1 of the Florida Constitution and by the Florida Emergency Management Act as amended, and all applicable laws, promulgate the following executive order. No government entity or its subdivisions, agents, or assigns shall be permitted to issue vaccine passports, vaccine passes, or other standardized documentation for the purpose of certifying an individual's COVID-19 vaccination status to a third party, or otherwise publish or share any individual's COVID-19 vaccination record or similar health information. Section 2, businesses in Florida are prohibited from requiring patrons or customers to provide any documentation certifying COVID-19 vaccination or post-transmission recovery to gain access to, entry upon, or service from the business. So that's basically helping us out with discrimination. Businesses can't discriminate based on the grounds of vaccine or no vaccine. Section 3, all executive agencies under my direction shall work to ensure businesses comply with this order. Any provision of Florida statutes is hereby suspended solely to extent it restricts a Florida agency from requiring compliance with this order as a condition for a license, permit, or other state authorization necessary for conducting business in Florida. Section 4, all businesses must comply with this order to be eligible for grants or contracts funded through state revenue. Section 5, the requirements in this order do not otherwise restrict businesses from instituting COVID-19 screening protocols in accordance with state and federal law to protect public health, and nothing herein shall be construed to interfere with individuals' right to access their own personal health information under federal law. This order is effective immediately and shall remain in effect for the duration of Executive Order 2052 as extended. And as we see, that is what you call a politician working. That is what you call a politician working to defend the rights of the people he represents. He knows there is a large amount of constituents in Florida who do not feel comfortable getting the vaccine. We do not want to take the plunge. We do not trust what the doctors are saying. We would rather just go about it our own way, and we don't want to be forced into medical tyranny. So Ron DeSantis, I mean, tonight I gave you guys two great examples of what a good politician is doing during these times. You have Maxine Waters, and then you have Ron DeSantis. So I'm glad that I got to show you guys just the contrast between the two. One politician is good at running her mouth, which may just get the Chauvin verdict appealed. And then the other, Ron DeSantis, is out here working, stopping riots, putting legislation in place to where people can get felonies, people can get real serious time. Entities, local bodies can't defund their police. So as you guys see with this live stream, there's a lot to be, especially my fellow Floridians here, there's a lot to be encouraged by in the world of politics, because there's a lot of craziness happening outside the state of Florida. And of course, there's craziness happening in the state of Florida. But from a leadership perspective, we have a lot to be grateful for, because our governor is going to work for us. So let me jump into some of these comments, and then we'll wrap up. We will wrap up the live stream. Everybody that's here, thank you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button. I appreciate all the support. Let's get these likes all the way up, so it could help the YouTube algorithm. Also drop a comment so it can help the YouTube algorithm. My man Uber, he wants the serious serious consequences. That's like back in biblical days. All right, so Sunshine Happy Lady says, I am so impressed with the awesome job that DeSantis is doing for Florida. Best governor ever. And honestly, honestly, Sunshine, it's crazy, right? That all of his accomplishments aren't mainstream. Like Maxine Waters is mainstream and Ron DeSantis is not. AOC is mainstream and Ron DeSantis is getting a hit piece, a smear piece by 60 Minutes. And yet he is doing what Americans should expect their politicians to do. Act. Do what's right. Stand up against what's wrong. No, it is not right to defund the police. Yes, it is a conspiracy theory to claim systemic racism is the root of all these injustices, i.e., people resisting the cops and then getting shot. Okay, resist all this. So Ron DeSantis is doing a great job. Us who are actually aware of what's going on and actually looking past the mainstream narratives, we have a lot to be grateful for. Unless you're in Minneapolis, if you're in Minneapolis and you're listening to this, get the heck out of there. It is not worth living there anymore, in my opinion. If you are a resident of Minnesota, in the Minneapolis area, it might just be better to, relocate down south, come down here to Florida. No state tax, lower cost of living. We have great beaches. I mean, we have the best beaches in the United States of America. I mean, no sales tax. Or is there a sales tax? I don't remember. Anyways, even if there is, Florida is a go-to spot. So if you're in one of these high crime, rundown Democratic rat holes, come down to Florida and experience a better way of living, and just make sure that you bring a conservative or Republican, a vote with you, because we do not want to see Florida turn into all of the crap that we're seeing all around. Looking at some of the comments. Did you ever go to any of the Paint the Trump flag waving events here in Florida? So I didn't go. The only Trump event that I went to was the rally, the Trump rally he had here in Tampa, Florida. I went to that because it was, I mean, honestly, when he said he was coming to Florida, I was like, okay, I can't miss this. I have got to go and check out a Trump rally, because I've heard about it. I've heard about the energy. I've heard about all of the what to expect, all this, the patriot, like it feels so patriotic. So I went to the Trump rally here, and when he was rallying, I'm trying to pull it up so you could see. Let me pull it up. I'm trying to pull it up so you can see. I basically did like a little vlog. It was I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. You could go ahead and watch this video. It was a while ago. I think it was like 5 months ago. So it was my first Trump rally, and man, I was having a great time. I was out there. I was just, beginner vlogger, just walking around. I don't even remember what I was talking about, but the Trump rally here in Florida. Our temperature. Do we need one?
Just to get through security.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just to get through security.
You want to be on the? Yes, I love it. Check that out. That
Yes,
is
sir.
clean.
Fight for the people, you
Yes,
know what
sir.
I'm saying? Latinos for Trump, other guys, African Americans for Trump.
Exactly.
We're all for Trump. We just like America, man.
Yes.
We love where we live, you know?
We love-
Greatest country on the planet, man.
We love where we live.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
We love being a capitalist. We can do whatever we want in America. So that's the thing. No matter what color you are, creed,
Yep.
you can be what you want to be in this country. That's why we
Yes.
love it.
Yes. Hey.
Donald Trump fights for us.
Yes,
We're
sir.
the fighters.
Hey, man, I love it, man.
Absolutely, man. We're the fighters, man, you know?
This was
We're designing broadband internet and 5 more employees in the last month. We got 17 employees and we're designing broadband internet.
People, very simple question. Why do you love America and why do you love Donald Trump? Go ahead.
We gotta love America.
Yeah, real quick. It's funny watching myself. I really did this. This was a fun day. Man, it was so fun. I wish there were more Trump rallies.
Because of the freedom, first and foremost. I love Trump because I started the business after he was elected. I just hired 5 more employees in the last month. We got 17 employees and we're designing broadband internet in rural America.
Awesome.
Couldn't do that under Obama.
Awesome. And you guys heard it first. Trump is making America great again. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Say it.
Make America great again.
Yes.
Damn right.
I got
4 more years. 4 more years.
want to say 4 more years, Mark.
The Second Amendment. While letting far-left rioters, looters, and vandals roam free.
Hey,
Look what he's doing in Philadelphia.
that was on
Look what-
accident. We're right on cue. He's talking about looting and rioters. That's awesome.
What's happening? Those are people that he's supporting. He couldn't even come out against them yesterday. They asked him a question. He said, what's Philadelphia? Where is it? He
So I'm not gonna go any further with that. If you guys want to watch that, it is on my page. My first Trump rally. It was a great. I mean, honestly, it was a great time experiencing it, because you hear a lot of things. Oh, it's a bunch of racist people. No, you know what? That is why I could confidently say, and I want you guys to take this with you and put this in your social media feeds. Share this with your friends in conversation. Call out the racism narrative of today for what it is. It is a conspiracy theory. If you hear people that talk like this, if you hear people that talk like this, and here I'll close with this, guys. If you see people who talk like this, it is unfortunate reality that driving while black, running while black, walking while black, bird watching while black, and quite frankly, doing anything other than a person could do while black often ends in death. Dante Wright. All right, guys, if you haven't got it by now, it is not just a lie. All right, the systemic racism narrative pushed by Black Lives Matter and the Democratic Party, it is not simply a lie. It is a conspiracy theory to overthrow the powers that be. They want to make everybody who's white to have some sort of white guilt to repent of, and then so that they become subservient to the ones who are calling for racial reconciliation. So this is not simply a lie. This is a conspiracy theory. And I want you guys to use that language as you talk harshly against this crap, because there's so many conspiracy theories that are out there. The systemic racism one is a conspiracy. If you are sitting here in America thinking that America is conspiring against you, the systems are conspiring against you. It was the system that got Dante Wright. No, it was actually a mistake. 2, it was his own decision to resist. It was his own decision to be a criminal. So for us who are all about self-responsibility. I want you guys to take that claim and to assert it into the public space so that people can hear loud and clear. We're not just against systemic racism. We're not against abolishing the police. We are not just against that. We're calling you out for what you are. You are either a conspiracy theorist or you are being fooled by a conspiracy. And that's how we have to, that's, in my opinion, that's how we have to treat it as we move forward. Sunshine Happy Lady says, that was my first Trump rally also. Yes, here in Tampa. It was awesome. I mean, my goodness, it was such a great time. All right. Uber says, summertime Florida with the lightning. Yeah, be like you're drinking a beer. Then the next thing you know, 20 feet away, boom. And then lightning hits near. Yes, I mean, hey, the weather's crazy down here. It changes fast. Sunshine says, after the Trump rally, I went over to the entranceway of the Biden rally with my Trump flag to protest against Biden with other fellow patriots. Yes. The left has no good ideas to win with. So they have to push lies in order to win because they have absolutely nothing to offer, zero zilch. And I agree with you 100%. But I think I'm gonna leave that right there. Gotta get to bed, gotta go spend some time with the wife. So I appreciate you guys for spending this Monday evening with me. Make sure you guys stay safe out there. Make sure you guys check out some of my shorter comments, share some of my comment on your feeds. That definitely helps the channel grow, just being exposed to your circles of influence. So as you guys share my content, then my content is able to reach people that